You got them all over the place,
I have them strategically located so that, hey,
where the
I
falls
think
occur.
pull
It might
myself
be near
up.
where you need it, right.
Yikes.
And I actually had one to be able to get out of bed when I first got home, because I wasn't about to sit there and wait for Dave to help me out of
No,
bed. I
June
was like,
said, don't, June is that, "Adam, don't help me."
Yeah.
Except for the first time when she's trying something, she wants me to spar. Get it figured out. She's good. Hey.
What? Okay, one of the greatest things I did is I figured out how to get down, and I have this, that was this on the notes. It's meant to put fire
Some
on,
mail for you.
not very high off the ground.
Thank you.
So I can get down on the ground and then scooch myself up on
Fire
that
starter.
and switch over to the basement stairs
Yeah,
and put my legs
put
down
your feet down and
and
then
then
stand up.
stand up.
Hey, that's cool.
But the first time I tried it, I made Dave come in and stand.
Make sure you didn't end up down the
steps.
stairs, right? That would be good. Oh, you do. You do. You look around.
I saw on Facebook the
Yeah,
ones,
they're
are,
all
is everyone out? Oh, good, that's nice.
Now walk in
I
there,
hope they-
there's some flashlight.
they find it.
Amy
Amy Blazell, Amy and
Look right
Joey.
here.
Oh, their dog was
Yeah.
missing?
They
Brand new dog.
brand new puppy they just brought home,
Oh,
got out of the
shoot.
car and pulled.
Bolt.
Oh,
I don't know. I think it's 6-month-old or something.
And he doesn't know where home is, really.
No.
That's kind of tough.
Yeah, she just got it, just brought it home.
Oh, she found it. Oh, that's good.
What kind
No,
of
she didn't
picture?
find it yet.
Silver lab.
Are you his better half? I don't think we've ever
Yeah.
met.
Yeah,
I'm Greg
that would be
Caldwell.
Puppy? Okay.
6 months. I think she said 6 months.
They look pretty
Yeah,
full
yeah,
grown.
it gets
big.
Okay.
almost full grown,
Yeah, 6 months.
but still down and going.
That's it.
oh, gee.
People driving up and down the roads with flashlights and
Oh.
people here in the field searching and
Hmm.
hollering.
Mm.
I think it's spread out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Amy and Joey were diagonal across.
Mm.
Okay. Oh, it's gonna be cold tonight too.
Yeah. I feel like that dog rescue place does a good job. Do you remember a couple years ago, that dog was all around town? That little one, do you remember that? They finally found it and they finally tracked it somewhere random. But
Maine lost dog recovery?
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like they had quite a process, but they did it.
Yeah, as many coyotes as there are out there, then we're being so young now, know that how much of a chance it stands right now.
Ray Berry told me. He shot a deer the last day of deer season. He had to go from it, shot a doe from his garage. He said, I'll get it in the morning. There was nothing left of it. The coyotes had eaten it.
Holy
There was
crap.
nothing but bone,
Wow.
nothing left.
You know, we kind of back onto, our woods go, you would go straight down through our woods and you'd come out at, Michelle and John Pino's.
Oh, yeah.
And we have game cameras out there and we have pictures of just coyote after coyote after coyote.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Mhm.
I see foxes. I don't see any coyotes, but I see foxes in my yard
Yeah,
quite
we
often.
have a lot of foxes.
Gray fox. You don't see many gray fox. Red fox is pretty common. We have one gray fox. I got a picture of him. It's a good sized animal.
Yeah, they're pretty,
They are.
they're pretty.
Tail like this, big around, but, you know, pretty neat.
You know, there was a confirmed case of rabies in Mount Vernon.
When, this year?
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's all we got was a notice from the state confirmed case of rabies in Mount Vernon.
so is it transmitted to a human or is it just the animal?
They've sent an animal in to be tested and it doesn't say whether it's domestic or wild.
Maybe it didn't bite anybody.
No.
Oh, that's good.
Well,
We don't know.
We don't know.
yeah, the state doesn't feel chatty about anything like that. It's just, yeah, rabies.
Scary.
Okay. Doing here. Call the meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Let's do the pledge of allegiance.
Okay, let me determine right from
Watch
my,
out. Uh-oh.
my cord mess here. Hang on. Okay.
What's that?
I think I'm good.
Pledge allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag
of the
United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bob is safety manager. I want you to do something about the board
We got a
situation.
lot of cables
A
tonight.
lot of cords today.
Okay, I will make a motion to accept the minutes from December 19th. There were no changes.
Second.
We'll skip over the next one. I didn't make copies. Would you guys like? You're all set. I'll just skip over it just in case Barbara might come in.
She's right behind me.
Oh, Barbara's here. Okay. You're up. Yeah, you're up.
Justin.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New
Happy New
Year.
Hi.
You get it? There you go.
Hi, guys.
Okay. Give us your,
Oh, I'm
table
on?
is yours. Yeah,
Oh, my God. Okay.
perfect timing.
So, thanks, guys. So I guess, generally speaking, I'm here about the greening of Mount Vernon, if you will. I think we're all aware of what's happening to our environment. And it's in trouble. And if you're like me, you ask yourself, what am I gonna do about this? And I got birding nices, and I do this, and I do that, and I'm careful about what I plant and all that kind of stuff. Just so that I think that's what we all try to do. But I've been reading a little bit about what municipalities can do. And found out that there's a sort of a national maybe program that municipalities are trying to adopt. Basically, they're saying, we want to drop bad practices and adopt good practices in our communities. Some communities, of course, are huge. You know, you're talking San Francisco. Here, we're talking Mount Vernon, you know, tiny little place. Now, we have, correct me if I'm wrong, do we have the school as our property? No, okay. But we have certain lots. I know Bob, you worked on the cemeteries a long time, right? The
Yep.
cemeteries are ours?
Yep.
Okay. The beach?
Yep.
The lot here and out
Yep.
back. What else?
The library.
Library.
The library,
And the transfer station.
transfer station, yeah, good.
And
Good.
ball fields,
Which one?
the ball fields.
Ball, I forgot about that, that's right.
And those are separate from the school.
Yeah. Okay, so we take care of those. extensively. Okay, so my idea is this, I wanted to see if you would be willing to adopt a program of some sort about greening, starting with very simple stuff. We have somebody in our village, he does the lawns every year. One of the things you can adopt in terms of municipality is something called, it's a bit of a tongue twister, no, mow, may. Got that? And the idea behind this is that pollinators are key to the ecology, right? So therefore, anything we can do to encourage them rather than discourage them, discouraging them from breeding is a plus. So how do you do that? Well, springtime, because it turns out, of course, as I'm sure you all know this, is high season for pollinators, all kinds, bees, but you know, you name it, everything. So the idea is to reserve that particular time of year, and this is May for us, more or less, in New England, as a no, you gotta read it, program. So we don't mow at all. That gives the chances for the flowers to flower and seed. It gives a chance for the pollinators to start feeding. Now, I remember you something. You ever have violets in your lawns, or you get a violet? Those are the host, I didn't know this until last week, are the host for fritillary butterflies. If you haven't seen that butterfly around here for a long time, it's because it was violets and mowed down. The other thing is dandelions. We were all taught as kids that dandelions are evil. They're not. They're vital pollinators. I'm sure you know this. Yeah.
We have 6 hives of bees too.
There you go. Yeah. So all of this to say, let's see what we can do about adopting better practices for the properties that we own as a town. So that's where I'm coming from. The other thing I'm trying to do is talk to the Travis Mills folks. Hi, Ron. The Travis Mills Foundation, because they have a very large estate, you know, hey, and I'm sort of feeling that they would be interested in joining with us on something like that, even though that's not a town property, but, you know, it's good PR, and it's good practice. So that's why I'm here. Hi there. How have you been? Happy New Year. So basically, that's what I'm about. I would like to start, if it's specifically with this lawn out here, do something about that one. And it seemed to me, didn't we have years ago some flowers along the edge of the
Before
building,
the addition was
before
put
the
in.
before we put the ramp in? And I think John Pino maybe contributed plants when he had the nursery back here. Anyway, it's gone. So it'd be nice to bring something back. So I'm proposing that start with this lawn right here, beautify it. It certainly looks pretty drab, guys. It doesn't really advertise Mount Vernon very beautifully, you know. Come on. So flowers, bushes, and being careful about mowing. So that's that. In terms of seasonal stuff, one thing I would really lobby for is monarchs. I think we all know what they look like. They are dying because they don't have enough milkweed. That's their host plant. Milkweed, no butterflies, period. Milkweeds are weeds. You don't even have to grow them. And you will have wonderful habitat for those wonderful creatures. So that's ideas too, but I just want to throw that out there, see what you guys think and what we can do. So, end of speech.
Barbara, do you feel like there, I mean, I'm sure there are, I'm sure we could just find them, some folks in town who would be interested in
Yeah.
cultivating some like garden, some flower beds, like out.
Well, a
And-
couple of people interested in this. I'm not the only one. Yeah. You know, we're sort of concerned not just about the ecology of it, but the
The
presentation.
beautification.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they used to, around the memorial lot in the village, they used to do that around the stone monuments, they used to do.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah. So that's basically it. That's what I'm throwing out there. I'd like to get our town involved, any way you can. It doesn't cost any money or very little. And do we have a budget for landscaping or anything like that? Do we have, no, okay. All right. Well, maybe in the future, yeah, I know. So,
The only problem we have is, we have one person that mows all our lawns,
yeah,
and we try to get them all mowed for the first mowing by Memorial Day, which is May.
31st, more or less.
So he's strapped to get all his raking done and that first mowing by that point.
I don't understand what you're telling me.
The mowing and the raking
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
done to get it, all of the lawns that we have. This is the cemetery lots and the town lots
Mhm.
need to be mowed and raked
By
of
when?
leaves by Memorial Day. So he usually
And-
starts raking as soon as the snow's gone. So.
Oh, to clear brush and stuff like that, debris?
Yes,
or-
so
okay.
mid-April, March, he's gonna start raking
Mhm.
and probably start mowing the first part of May
I think one of the things
or
that,
middle May. Usually, I don't have his time cards, so
yeah, it's middle May,
probably mid to,
yeah,
Well,
but then,
But this isn't done by dates, it's done by nature. When are the grasses and the flowers blossoming
well,
for the neighbors?
yeah, see, it depends on year to year.
exactly,
lately,
yeah, exactly,
lately,
Yeah, right.
grass has been growing earlier and earlier.
climate change.
I have dandelions growing right
And we
now,
have dandelions, right?
right now.
That's what someone was
Yeah, it's
concerned.
crazy, it's totally crazy, we
I-
all know that.
I think one of the things that's gonna be tricky is the cemetery lots. A lot of the raking is tedious and cumbersome because they're trees that through the winter
Yep.
have a lot of branches
Yep.
and
A
leaves
lot.
debris. But to your point, because I think about this a lot, to your point, raking is one of the big things too, because like bumblebees live in the leaf litter.
Right,
And
right.
those up, that destroys
Yeah.
the habitat for the
Right.
bumblebees and other things over winter. But the cemeteries, you need to do that raking up to clean them up, because otherwise they look like crap.
And the
Yeah,
beach,
So you're not
Yeah.
the beach, you've got to rake it and mow it because you don't want ticks.
well, yes, yeah, I think maybe the best thing to do is, you're talking about Charlie, is it Charlie?
Yeah.
Is get together with Charlie, and ask him when was the last time you saw a honeybee? You know, this, we're talking about change here, of course, just because we've done it this way for the last
Right.
20 years.
We've
doesn't
asked
mean we
him
have
to
continue doing
raise
it.
his,
The bed on
a little
the,
bit.
yeah.
right,
yeah.
at the beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the idea is to try to get the environment ecologically more positive.
Yeah.
Let's stop killing stuff off if we have the opportunity to do the complete opposite. Therefore, in terms of best practices for municipality, when they ask people out mowing, first of all, don't mow at all in May, period. Then when you mow, instead of doing it maybe you did it 4 times a month before, do it 2. And on those 2 months, raise the bed on your lawnmower, so it's higher. And that gives the grasses more of a chance to flower and to seed and to replenish the soil. So, you know, there's a sequence to all this, and it makes logical sense anyway.
Could you also plant milkweed?
Yeah, sure,
Sometimes
just
it's
throw it
doing
out
that.
there, it's all over the place.
Milkweed seed is very, very expensive.
Really?
Been raising bees for 10 years.
And
It
milkweed
hurts me
is-
mowing my lawn.
Yeah,
I've had the bees get dandelion here before I can even mow them. They've done their job.
that's right,
They've done
yeah,
their job.
yeah, milkweed is easy, I've got tons of it at the house. It's easy.
But I have the kind that's a hybrid that is made for bees.
They actually sell it
Generally,
Certain
to
bees, yeah.
cultivate.
right, it is between $20 and $28 a pound.
Well, I think we're talking about butterflies here.
Can
not
you-
bees.
can
No, we're
get
talking
seed
about
from
bee
what you
honeybees.
have?
I
Monarch?
specify in it.
Monarchs?
I do it all the time.
That's great, okay. That's the idea, guys. So I would like to see, maybe meet with Charlie or come back and. whatever.
Okay, we'll
Okay.
talk, we'll talk.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, let me know,
Oh,
because if
great.
not, I'll,
Yeah, great.
yeah, I'd love to hear what you have to say.
What does the town feel about, why not wait till after Memorial Day?
The
Start
mow?
mowing it?
You gotta mow the cemeteries. You gotta get those
Yeah, they
ready.
have to be ready for them.
Cemetery.
Depending on families visiting.
The memorial lot's gotta be mowed.
Yeah.
If you don't mow the library, they're gonna less.
But maybe as far as raking and stuff, we could put off the raking of like the town hall here. Because that isn't this.
Yeah, you gotta
technically
get the
not-
dirt off in that, you know, you get
Before
dirt
grass starts
from
coming
the
up.
plowing, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta get that all off.
Purpose. Really.
I do feel like, like one thing, when you're doing spring garden prep, right, thinking of the bumblebees, is you wait until it's been warm for a few days, like give everybody a chance, everybody being the bumblebees in this case, a chance to wake up. So you just wait until it's been nice for a few
Yeah.
days, everyone's out and about before you start.
By the
yeah,
way,
yeah,
I'm on just a little different subject. Do you
Yeah.
realize that the town looms have not made it and bred in the last 2 years
On
on Minnehaha?
Minnehaha, really?
See, nobody knows.
We've got extra on
2 years,
Parker, I think.
2 years. This is serious. There are all sorts of theories on why, but mostly they're ecological. Shoreland development, dogs, humans, usual stuff. So that's been an issue. We're gonna get another little group in my section of Mount Vernon right here, gonna look at that around Memorial Day and see what we can do about that.
What was
I
your
think it's
question?
good to know that.
What
the
was your
Lions are
question?
Struggling,
I already asked it.
It was answered?
Yep.
Okay.
so,
Mhm.
okay,
Okay,
guys, gonna go
yep.
home now, have some supper. If you need me, you know where to find me, I'm at the bottom of the hill.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
All right, thanks,
Barbara.
guys, carry on, doing a great job, bye.
Transfer station update.
Oh, that sounds really sexy.
We were trying to get a shed for replacement for George. But it's at the Catsi in Augusta, and I can't find anybody that can get it here. So I would say we ought to wait till spring and see what we do then.
Mhm. Sounds fine.
The other thing at the transfer station tomorrow, our safety consultant will be up here at 10 o'clock. Yep,
Don't we have a shed that we used to have down here at the beach that it's no longer at the beach?
yeah, it went to the school and now it's at the transfer station.
That's the one near the compactor.
Lee is using it for signs,
So for the shed.
Oh,
road signs and stuff like that. It's pretty well fit. I looked at it as an alternative, but he's pretty well using it.
But if we got road signs, put them side by side to build it.
You don't want
you don't
Well,
want
it's
we-
locked up.
we lose them.
You shouldn't lose them.
we're losing them as they're sitting on signs. We're always replacing road signs. They're very popular.
The other thing is there's a portion of if you go in the recycling shed, back left, that's a blocked off, and I think there was actually used to be a locked area that the signs could go in.
Where?
In the,
Yeah,
you have all the clothes, and then there's another room that's the glassware and stuff. And in back of that, there's a desk and stuff back there.
I was
And
gonna say, somebody used to sit in there and
Yeah.
just kind of make sure the clothes got folded, and I don't even
Yeah.
remember who it was.
I'll look at it.
yeah, so that would be a place that could actually be locked up, the signs.
But Bob, were you also saying that the shed we're talking about right now is not structurally
I wouldn't
good
want
enough?
it. Yeah,
Be
it's
able to
been
be
moved
moved.
so many times. It's sitting right, it's not on blocks or anything. It's sitting right on the ground right now. I wouldn't want to move it again. Okay. Shed. So I would not do anything at this point. Generators, town generators, I'm still working on getting bids. I don't have a third bid yet. And budget. When would you guys like to start working on the budget?
I think when we started
We
last
started
year,
way,
not
way too
till
late.
March. It was too late. I think
Yeah.
we should start earlier. Maybe like February, end
Yeah,
of this month or early
first part of
February.
February.
Mhm. What do you think, Carrie?
I think if we look back in the minutes, you guys decided that you were gonna start working on it at the end of December. We had this discussion like 3 months ago.
You need to start at least beginning of February, get everybody in order. I've been keeping a log of stuff to talk about on that.
Mhm, me too.
Okay, junkyard. Something that's come up and it hasn't been talked about past years, and it's in the ordinance that requires the junkyard owner or the automotive graveyard owner to get a waiver from any butter that can see the graveyard. Any abutting owner that's within 1,000 feet, they can see the graveyard. So say with for instance, Sid Smith, the only abutter that sees his would be on the Belgrade Road. There'd be one abutter. So he would have to write a letter to them and get a waiver
Mhm.
and submit it to us, and then we could give him give him his permit.
Mhm.
That's been in the ordinance forever. Apparently, but it has never been done. Now, I got a ruling from MMA. Did you get a chance to look at that?
Yes.
And basically it says, yeah, we do have to follow it every year. Which seems a little harsh. But what they're saying is they could be bringing in more stuff and making it worse,
Mhm.
in that the abutters have a chance to make a statement.
Yeah.
Which sounds fair.
Mhm.
So what happens if they don't sign the waiver?
Then we as selectmen could say, we could give them their permit with the, even saying that person has not given a waiver, we could still give them the permit based on the fact that we're ignoring that waiver.
So what's the sense?
I don't know.
I was thinking build a fence, we don't want that.
He could build a fence, he could put up trees, he could do a bunch of things. But it also gives us an option to say, is there something going on between the abutter and, so we could go down and look at it and say, well, we really can't see him.
It might be a grudge thing.
Right.
A million things can happen.
Well, in order for me to get my business permit, I had to contact all the landowners surrounding my business.
Right.
And if anybody could see the property, whether it's my own property or not, I had to write a letter to them
Right.
and ask them for permission over my business.
Right.
If somebody decided that they didn't want me to have the business, I wouldn't have the permit.
But that was only one time though.
But still, I was told that I had to put up fences.
Right.
Really?
I had to put
Yeah,
up
that was the
fences to
planning board.
block, to block any debris that I may have, because I collect, I've got brake rotors and mufflers and exhaust systems and front end parts and suspensions.
Because you're in a residential area.
Right.
Okay.
But it's not, it is zoned commercially. So, I mean, and that's what I was bringing up the other night with the issue that we have, which I can't see it. But if I'm a business owner and I had to abide by those rules, it's been 7 years and he still hasn't put a fence up. The code enforcement gave him until November 1st to get it done. He started on November 1st and he's only put up 3 panels. And that's why Bill and I got into the argument the other night. Something needs to happen. We can't just keep letting this shit go.
Yeah.
And it does. It's snowballing right out of control. David Hilton did it with my mother for years. She fought tooth and nail to get to me. He put up a row of trees, and then what did he do? He moved the junkyard on the front of the row of trees.
Okay, let's get back to this though.
So it's junkyards. We're still talking about junk. If you're gonna have rules, you can't just say, well, we can decide that we're not gonna make them abide by it. You're gonna either have them, and you're gonna adopt them, and you're gonna hold them to it, or you're not.
I agree.
Otherwise, there's no sense for even having a planning board to give permits.
Exactly.
So what we're gonna have to basically do is write a letter to each.
Yeah, because none of these
They
have
don't know it.
have gotten them.
Oh, here's another thing I wanted to let the select board know about this issue too. One of the residents that lives across the street from there was threatened the other day. I don't know if it was by life or by threat of harm, but he was threatened.
Do they have,
He ran out in the middle of the road after him while he was pulling into his driveway and told him to get out of the car because he was gonna beat the shit out of him, kill him.
they don't have
He called,
a witness?
he told, no, he was standing there, pulling into his driveway and he come running out of the road at him.
Need need a witness, though.
So you call the state police and the state police said, well, you should have called us sooner. I'm gonna call you while I'm standing there getting hollered at and threatened.
I know it doesn't work, but you still need a witness.
All of the neighbors there have been threatened by him at one point in time or another. Alice was chased down the road by him on her lawnmower trying to blow the side of the road. Something's gonna happen before somebody does anything about it. It's just like you read in the newspapers.
Okay, junkyard's done. Okay, we had an accident in town. Someone was hurt. And one thing we found out was our accident insurance for volunteers was not paid for, or was not. We dropped 2 years ago. And what I would propose is that we pick it up again.
Mhm.
Now, what they said was insurance starts on July 1st. So we would have to pay, it's only $2 a person,
Mhm.
but we would have to pay the whole year, it's not prorated.
Mhm.
But what we have to do is we have to list everybody. So we're gonna have to start listing everybody.
Volunteers.
Right, so it's planning board,
Mhm.
appeals board,
Mhm.
uh,
So I don't
not
think they-
library because they're paid.
right.
Some people are volunteers.
But there are volunteers, yeah.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
It's not those that are paid, but if they are, and I've asked Alice to give me the list of those that are getting
Yeah.
volunteers. But it's all the people that are volunteering at the community center. It's everybody, like, if you're getting paid, we're all covered. But if they're volunteering, baseball coaches, all that stuff, we'll just have to keep a list going and keep adding them.
Mhm.
But I propose that we start bringing it back in again.
Strong agree.
So, does the insurance that we would buy cover only those listed people?
Yeah.
Or, so that would potentially be changing all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's not a way to do anybody, or,
It has to be named.
Because I remember it was volunteers who were active, like alive and well.
Yep.
Because we were out doing things, but did not cover things like planning board and appeals board, because they were more sedentary.
If they get injured, the same case, going up a stair case or something, and they fall,
At
a
which
planning
point that
board
would
member,
be,
right?
but at which point that would
We
be
do site
property.
visits too, so we're always out looking at things.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So,
But some of that would go back on, okay, if a volunteer were in here, that would go on our property and casualty.
liability.
Sorry, liability.
Yeah, this is strictly accident.
Correct, but there's gotta be a rider and center's thing for somebody getting hurt in the building. If there's not a liability
Right.
clause in
We
there
have-
for somebody
no.
getting hurt,
We have
Yeah.
liability,
we need
yeah.
to buy some new insurance.
No, we have liability, right?
So in fact, you are covered.
Right. Liability wise, yes,
Yeah.
but not
In the
accidents.
building.
So what happened in this case, should but be covered by our liability, I would think.
What does liability cover?
Yeah, they're working on it. I'm not sure how. They've talked with you guys, I'm sure. No, really?
We haven't thought a lot about it anyway.
They were supposed to be calling witnesses too.
They, when I worked on the workers' comp claim, you really have to.
Yeah,
prod 'em.
yeah, you have to be careful, but they should have, I gave them names. Okay, I'll call.
Cattle fraud. Okay, so if we have to list absolutely everybody, then what we have to do is put it back on the individual committees, like the planning board committee, the community center committee, that it is their charge. You know, like signing the oath of being put on a board or something, it is their charge, they have to update it.
Well, we'll know as we appoint people.
Yeah, but
stuff like that.
if you have something going on, for example, at the community center, and you have a craft fair, and you have people volunteering there that aren't on the community center.
Well, library too, they'll have volunteers come in and,
Exactly.
right,
So it really has, and you wouldn't know because you're not appointing them.
right, we
really
should
has to
have
be
a
back
policy
to the
that would go
boards.
out to each department, yes. Good idea.
Blanket type thing, can't you?
I
Yeah,
would
that's what
think,
I'm wondering.
What was that?
Blanket, put a type of blanket thing to cover them certain things.
Right. Like a blanket.
And it covers them all.
that's why I am questioning this some though, because like Kennebec Land Trust, we have coverage for volunteers who go in and do trail maintenance and stuff. And they're just, it's a blanket coverage. We don't have to list them.
You
So,
cover it.
yeah. So, and it's a volunteer coverage that
Right.
Kennebec Land.
Hmm.
Because this is sounding almost unmanageable.
It is. People come and go, you know.
Yeah, I'll go through this again. It looks like, Times two. Yeah, it looks like
Chicken barbecue.
yeah, it looks like you just list them. Name of coaches, name of committees. So you make a bunch of these sheets and you just list them all.
The
And then-
committees, not the individual
So
people.
there's also unnamed volunteers. So that's for an
Okay.
event. So that's for like craft fair, for example.
Okay,
Or like
that makes me
whatever,
feel
you know,
better.
fill in the blank thing.
Everybody going nuts.
So we can
Yeah.
say, you know, library, book sale,
Because when you
blah,
said
blah,
they wouldn't
blah.
be covered if they weren't listed, it was like,
12 volunteers.
that's,
Those would fall under
Yeah.
the unnamed category.
And they give you tips on,
Who's under what?
see. Names on that anyway.
Mhm.
Okay. Do we need a motion to